Hello friends, this is Matt. I've got my hat and hair on today. Just got it imported on Amazon. How you doing? I hope that you're great. I wanted to talk to you today about extending yourself, going for bold choices as an actor or as a performer, as a singer, as a storyteller. A lot of people feel reluctant to go for big, bold choices because they're scared that it may not work or they might end up looking silly. So they end up kind of staying where they are or having a little crack at it without really just letting it rip and seeing what happens. But you know what the big issue with that is that when you fail to go for what you feel is the right place to go, then you're holding yourself back. So you kind of send out that message that the moment isn't quite what it should be. Because once you have an awareness or of an understanding of something being something else, but you withhold and you stay safe, then you transmit that energy. So it's unavoidable. You kind of end up taking a hit anyway. You can either go for it, and then if it doesn't work out, you just deal with the fact that it didn't work out. Or you can not go for it, but then you still have to deal with the fact that you didn't go for it. And I personally would much prefer to see someone have a crack, even if they end up falling on their head, than to stay safe. Because I get inspired when people go for broke. And you know what? Going for broke is it's a personal experience. Like going for broke for one person, it would be very, very different for another. Going for broke for one person that has no problem with big, bold choices and they're not caught up in whether they look silly or not. They might be massive and just literally fall on their head. Whereas another person that doesn't make those big, bold choices and is a little bit more subtle and it kind of still has a full emotional range, but it's more contained, that just might be raising their voice or allowing to sit in silence for a few extra seconds. That can be a really bold choice. Like that, it's challenging to do that. Because you're caught up in, what am I doing? I've got to get to the next moment. I've got to do something. It's got to be right. That feeling that we fall into as performers? I've been working a lot with younger performers recently. And it's like, they're kind of half in and they're half out. They don't want to go for it because it may not work out the way that they want it to. But I just know, and we talk about this often, that it's not a particularly satisfying strategy because you know you haven't done it. So I've tried to create an environment to encourage people to go for it and then deal with the consequences. Either celebrate the success of it or deal with the fact that it didn't work out the way that you want, but you still celebrate that. Because actually going for it is sometimes the only thing that you need to do, because then it releases new possibilities so that next time something like that appears in your experience, you're more likely to just have a crack and see what happens. So that's one part of the thing I want to talk to you about. The second part is about, and I talked to a lot of the actors that I worked with when I was at AMAW in New York and Los Angeles, which is Anthony Mindel's Actors Workshop, which is an absolutely brilliant acting studio. So if you happen to be in LA or New York or Sydney in Australia or in Atlanta or London or Vancouver, hang on, I think one of my kids is going to turn up. Oh, look, here he comes. There he is. Say hello.
Hi.
Hey, it's all happening. If you happen to be in those areas, check out AMAW, Anthony Mindel's Actors Workshop. It's brilliant. I had a fantastic experience there as a student and a really fantastic experience teaching there. But one of the things that I would often speak to students about over there, and I'm continuing to do here and have done all throughout my career really, is this idea of when you're improvising, what happens if you kind of start to get used to like a really big exaggerated experience? What's the benefit of that? Sometimes I get great resistance. People are like, I don't see the need, and I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that, and that's not me. It's like, well, let me tell you what I believe to be the advantage of doing it. is that, hey, Oscar, stop rustling over there. Because I'm recording something here and this is going to change people's lives. What do you think? Okay. That worked better than I thought it would. Is that when you kind of throw caution to the wind and go for something big, like even a gesture like this for some people is really confronting, and it's just, it's a big, bold gesture. Hello, world!
Hello.
Oh, see? People pick up on it. Hey. When you do that, you actually send a message to your body and to your mind of like, oh, I know what that full range means. Oh, I see what being big is and stretched and open. Oh, that's interesting. So it becomes a new possibility. So I use this analogy with a ballet dancer or any sort of dancer. When they're preparing and learning and developing their craft, they practice by stretching and developing their range when they stretch. And when they're warming up to do a dance, a ballet, whatever it is, a routine, they will actually stretch to their full range without pushing it too far, not because they need to be big and stretched to every point every time they make a gesture, just so that they're fully available and their full range is available to them, so that when they stretch up to their 9 and they kind of feel their body is stretched and warmed up, ready, that when they go to a position of like a 6 in their range of stretch, they're really comfortable in that and they've got lots of headroom. That's the idea. And for actors, getting used to having a bigger range so that you can sit comfortably in just being a little bit exaggerated without feeling like you're always hitting the ceiling. That's one of the things that I think is a great advantage for big, bold gestures. Because then you can just decide to do it or to not do it. All of this stuff is about exploration and learning and acceptance and curiosity. It's a great word, being curious. Let me try that. We develop our self-awareness. How do I feel about that? Once you've explored it from a place of love and openness, then you actually can make an informed decision with your heart and your mind. So I encourage, oh, look out, a thumbs up. Do you agree? I encourage you to, why don't you jump into my class? I'm starting a new class on the 1st of March.
Listen to him.
Yeah, why not? Thanks, buddy.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough.
Why?
Why don't you jump into my new class starting on the 1st of March? Because we're going to explore all of this stuff. If you're one of those people that wants to be able to go for big stuff and they don't quite know how, I've got a whole bunch of ways to kind of get you to expand your range. If you're scared about what might happen if it doesn't turn out the way that you want, come to class when you can explore that feeling. And I can take away some of the fear that's associated with dealing with the consequences of going for something big and it not being the way that you want it to. Because once you take away the fear of it, then it becomes available and possible. Because that's the reason why we don't do things. Our conscious or subconscious mind tells us, well, better not because ... whatever you like. Something bad will happen or people won't think of me in the right way, or I'll feel silly, or could be anything. Could be like my mum always told me to not do that, and even when I was little, there's my hand hair falling down. So that's the area I want to talk to you about. Range, extension, and getting comfortable in being bold, getting comfortable and understanding like where your boundaries are and what happens if you expand them. What are the benefits of doing that? Can unleash creative juices and creative possibilities in your storytelling that you might find incredibly enjoyable and satisfying to live in. I would love you to be a part of the class. You can actually attend the first class on the 1st of March free, and if you like it, you can sign up for the month, and if you don't like it, well then it hasn't cost you anything. There's going to be some details below. It's going to be held in Elsternwick in Melbourne at the Artists Feast, and I'm super excited. Every Monday night from 7 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. If you're interested in developing your storytelling, you can do it with song if you're a singer, or you can just do it with a scene if you're an actor, or you can put the two together. Either way, but I don't want singers to feel like they shouldn't come because they're just vocalists, and I certainly don't want actors to not come because they're like, oh, well, I don't really sing, because it's not singing and acting all the time. It's going to be one or the other or both together. So super excited to get started. Would love you to be a part of it. Send me a message if you have any questions. Come along. Check out the class for free. See if you like it. Or we can have a chat before the class if you want to have an advanced, oh my gosh, I can't think of the right word. A little chat before it starts, in advance of the class. We can have a chat, FaceTime, Zoom or whatever, and you can say, oh, this is what I want to work on. What do you think? Do you think it's the right fit for me? And I'd be like, well, I'll tell you if I think it is. Most of the time it is. Because it doesn't really matter what you're doing. That's what I found. Doesn't matter whether you're a serious actor, just doing, am I serious, like it's straight plays, or you're a comedic actor, or if you're theatrical, film, television, singer, musical theatre, just singing in bands, but you want to connect to an audience more, all the same rules apply. Because it's all about human experience, storytelling, connection, openness, availability, presence, energy, being invested in the moment, really listening, understanding what's going on around you and how you feel in that moment fits into the given circumstances. And here, that is a super example. I've sung in cover bands for years, but to have a really great performance, I need to be aware in the moment as the leader of the band and as the lead singer in a cover band on stage. I need to have an awareness of what's happening in the room, what's happening with the song, and how do I fit into this? What's my role within this? And the same thing, if I'm in a musical or a play, I need to have an understanding of like, what is the situation? How do I fit into this? And how do I allow how I feel right now to be, how do I allow that to be a part of the story that I'm telling? Because it's going to be a part of it regardless of whether I acknowledge it or not. But if I do acknowledge it, become a little bit more powerful with that and open. So as you can see, like what I'm up to, like 11 and a half minutes, I love talking about this stuff. I want you to be on the journey as well. If you're passionate about developing your storytelling, send me a message, jump into class, and let's go on a journey and see if we can make some magic happen. I look forward to hearing from you soon. And I think that's the first video that one of my little kitty pops has popped in. And it looks like we're wearing uniforms, but that's just coincidence. All right, have a good day. Love ya.